Hi guys, it's me Liz with 143 Handmade, and I just wanted to share with you the next steps in how I created these covers. These lace covers that have lots of layers to them. So, let's see. So all I've done here is I have cut some pieces of fabric, well actually I just do the little nip and then I tear it. But only some fabric that works with, so you gotta test your fabric and all of that. And so I have both journals prepped the same way. And so I'm going to remove the inside of, everything on. All I have left here is a piece of fabric that is large enough to wrap around my journal. And then I literally just take my bits of fabric, or my bits of lace, and I just start putting it on. And sometimes I have just bits to work with, sometimes I have big sheets to work with, it just depends. So, let's see. Really like that sharp contrast between the white and the bright pink. Now, do remember though, if you want like this to be on the front edge of the book cover, let's see. Nope, no, it did. I flipped it over because I thought it was the wrong way, but nope, that's the right way. So, but remember, if you want that to be on the front cover, you have to account for, that space that you're going to roll it over. I left about 1 inch on mine, so I can put this, about 1 inch in and have it work just fine. There we go, just like that. And it doesn't matter that it didn't come over all the way. I can lay another piece, over here. And I can either cut that overlap so it doesn't overlap so much, or I can just leave it. Let's see, I think I'm gonna go ahead and leave that overlap right there. And let's see. I want to make sure I get some of this in. This has been on all of the journals so far. So I want to make sure that, them being part of a series and all, I want to include all of the different layers. And not all of the layers have to go all the way to this outside edge. Your bottom layer and your top layer have to, but nothing else has to. So if you wanted to get, a particular piece in a particular spot, you don't have to worry about that. Getting it all the way to that edge. Let's see, if I cut this one kind of in through here, I can get this big flower and this big flower in. Yeah. There we go. I'll grab my scissors. And I'm just going to cut that off like so, and cut off this cluster as well. Because with the way that it's going to roll over, that would have made that roll kind of difficult. So, and that kind of puts these on the spine. And see, and I can grab this cluster and I can just move it and now put it, over here. And again, remembering that inch away from the top as well. So let's put this guy around and put this guy right here, like so. Let's see, do we want any more of this anywhere? Is there a spot that I want to cover? Nope, I think that looks fine in that one. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab this dusty. I'm just checking to see if I have another piece already cut up. Nope, not really. Okay. So, because this is what I used on that folio cover, so I want to make sure that I use this as the outer layer. It will all make sense in the end, I promise. Okay, now I'm just checking my different corners to see which one's going to lay best for the rollover. Okay, that one's already been cut and it's not square anymore. So, let's see. go. There's lots of just the mesh, so I can go ahead and move that up if I need to, because the starbursts, or the flowers, or I don't know, whatever you want to call them, you know, are the pretty bit. And don't worry about it if it's folding up like that. At this point, you're still just auditioning the fabric on top, trying to see how it will lay, and I think that will lay the best of all my options so far. So I'm going to just do a rough, quick cut down here on this bottom edge. You may not be able to see me, but I'm still here, trimming right along this bottom edge. And then I'm just going to trim that off right there. There we go. Now, is there anything I want to fill in? Is that enough layers? You know, if I have, you know, you have a bunch of little bits of lace, this would be a great way to use them up. Because being sandwiched between the two solid layers, you know, it gives them that support. So, okay, now what I will do is I will go ahead and do a rough cut all the way around. And I might go ahead and use a little bit of glue. Depends on if I can go straight to my sewing machine or not. So, if I can take it straight to the sewing machine, I feel like I can handle the layers. I won't glue it. If I am not going straight to the sewing machine, or if it just has, you know, a lot of little pieces, then what I will do is I will grab my Fabri-Tac and or my glue stick. I will use a glue stick here if I know I'm going to be taking it to the sewing machine fairly quickly, like within the next couple of days, because sometimes the glue stick it gives up on the fabric if you don't anchor it fairly quickly. So there we go. And see, now I have this other starburst that's basically cut out that I could then put under, you know, if I wanted to somewhere. And go ahead and lift this up and lay this. Oh, no. Trying to get into just the layers that I want. Layer it like so. And then flip this back down. Okay, and since we're not going straight to the sewing machine, I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. I am going to go ahead and grab out my glue and show you how I glue it. Okay, I've got a little bit of glue leakage, so I have to be really careful with that. Actually, I'm just going to grab a tissue and get rid of that glue leakage, so that way it's just not even a problem for us. Okay. You can use white glue for this because it's just temporary. I like the Fabri-Fix. It's just what I'm used to using. Use what you have that you know that your sewing machine can handle sewing through it. So this little bit of lace is really easy to glue because it's nice and solid. But okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just peel back my top layer. But notice, see, I left it laid over here and curled, so that way I kind of keep my placement. And so what I do is I just put a little dab the back of just one little spot on it, and then tack it down. And that's it. But don't worry about gluing it, you know, fiercely down or anything, because I am going to take this to the sewing machine. And I'm going to do just kind of an all over messy stitch, which will grab everything and hold it in place. But you do, if you're not going to, you know, like I said, if you're not going to take it straight to the sewing machine, you do kind of want to, you know, do something. You could use pins instead of the glue. I'm not a big fan of pins. I tend to hurt myself with pins more than they help me, so I tend to not use them. And sometimes when you have multiple layers, it's a good idea to go ahead and add just a tiny bit of glue, you know, right there at those corners to help hold those corners in place. Let's see. Let's go ahead and dollop over here on this one. And then we'll pull it back down. And just on a couple of these flowers, I will add just a dollop of glue on the front and on the back, you know, because this is going to be the front cover. What is here on my right hand side, and this is going to be the back cover. And I don't worry about the stringies of glue. They don't really show up. They just kind of become part of the lace. So there we go. And I will do the same thing to the other cover and meet you back. No, we'll just go ahead and leave it at this for this episode. And my next episode will be back at the sewing machine. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate every minute we spent together.